Last week we spoke about the outreach program and how the whole thing is organic, that we have a four-part process. The first part is supporting people in becoming conscious. The second part, once people become conscious, some of them, a smaller group, will want further support and want to be protected. That will be the second part, the prevention. Then some people from that group will want to develop themselves. And I've been focusing a lot on personal development and what kind of personal development is required for people to marry as adults and marry correctly the right people. So I was looking at intrapersonal development, interpersonal development. So that is something I'm finding very enjoyable studying at the moment, going back to all the materials and looking at putting some basics down in a more clear way about like what are the features of a grown-up person. And last night's presentation also really was a movement in that direction, that you got to first have a relationship with God. If you don't know about God and you don't know God is meeting your needs, and you don't know what those needs are and how to apply yourself with God, you're missing out big time on life. So you won't be secure, you'll be needy, you'll be desperate, you'll want to, you carry guilt, shame and all that sort of thing. And obligation, consciousness, you'll be trying to make somebody your God, and that's where people get into problems. And that's those kind of relationships that are at best mediocre, at worst they're horrible. When people feel threatened and vulnerable and needy and shameful and obligated, they're carrying guilt, shame, unworthiness, they feel not okay, they feel powerless, they feel like they're bad. So anybody who is in that kind of a state, like I was in, by the way, we let ourselves down. We have very unhealthy relationships in the world, depending on people, depending on ourselves, or depending on substances. In my case, it was like a perversion, substances, addiction. So that is, the problem. That if people are not really developed, they will show up as insecure people, and the kind of difficulties that when you show up as an insecure person, it creates for you and for other people. And so if you're not secure, you'll be an insecure person, and as an insecure person, you will relate very unnaturally with the created world, firstly. And that unnatural relationship will keep you from relating to yourself, your body, your life. You won't really be grateful for the power of God, and you won't really be not only grateful for the power of God, you won't use that power of God. You won't know really why you're here. You'll be in the world, you'll think the world is all about, you won't know about the hereafter, you won't know about preparing yourself. Now, this is not for us to tell people who want to get married, about all this, but in a really truly soulful relationship, in a really truly soulful marriage. So I'm making the point that personal development is very important in life, in a person's life and in the relationships with other people and how they live their life, their relationship in the world. So if somebody is insecure, they'll obviously lean too heavily on somebody or something, including themselves. And that leaning on somebody or something actually takes their attention away from feeling good, feeling secure, innocent, being free to live your life freely. And there'll be some kind of addiction, compulsion, obligation, obsession. There'll be some kind of reaction, basically, to the world. There'll be some kind of unhealthy attachment, dependency. Can be substances, can be all kinds of things. Basically, they'll be controlled by something, or they'll be trying to control something. And so, being that kind of person in that kind of way can be workaholism, can be anything, can be losing yourself in work, can be losing yourself in somebody. You lose yourself in something or somebody. And so you're not there to receive. You don't feel the freedom, the support. You don't experience that expansion. And so as you don't feel that freedom, that support, that expansion, then you're not really there for you. You won't appreciate the power and what it has done and what it can do. You won't really appreciate the ability of, the benefactor that God is, the benefit that God is to us. This is extremely important in a soulful marriage. If I'm going to have a soulful marriage, this is the one I'm going to create for me. That I am aware that my Creator is enough for me, and every day I have a relationship with my Creator. That means I can stop my work, I can drop my work, I can stop focusing on the world, I can stop focusing on other people, and I can feel this peace within my being that's got nothing to do with the world. I don't have to be anything, not be anything, I don't have to do anything, get anything. I can just feel peace, that ease, that being pleased, that being peaceful, that feeling free with God, that I'm in the care of God, that assurance, that reassurance and insurance. I can feel that within. And if I feel that, I feel cared for by God, I feel taken care of by God. I feel like I'm supported, I'm sorted, I'm supplied, I feel secure. And I know how, feeling supported by God, I know what I'm to do with God. I know what I'm aware of the presence of God, who created me and who He is to me and the needs that He meets before me and before other people. That relationship with God, that emergence of the fact that there's only God before us, nobody and nothing. I'm secondary, people are secondary. Me and what I do in this world doesn't really, truly come anywhere close to what God, is doing for me and has done for me and will do for me. And that whatever I do for me is only as a part of the caring of God. And whatever I do for others and others do for me, it doesn't come close to God's caring for me. So I'm using myself as a role model, right? So for me, if I had to have the highest level of satisfaction in a marriage, it would be firstly me knowing God before me and before anybody else, before parents and children, before siblings and spouses, and before anybody and anything. It's like to know that, God has created me and everybody. God is taking care of me and everybody. And I'm okay and everybody is okay. And, we all here and we all here on a mission. Right? We're all here on a mission, but not everybody is undertaking that mission. We're all here to learn, grow, and develop. We're all here to remember God, draw closer. So there'll be spirituality for me that'll be a very important quality in my life as a secure person, which I'm becoming more and more. And so that will be a freedom and a liberation from turning to myself as a God in my life, or turning to others as a God in my life, or telling others to turn to me to a God in their life. I will be humble. As I turn to God and recognize God is sufficient for everybody. I am not anybody's God, nor am I not my God, and I'm not my God and anybody, and nobody's my God. And I'm not going to look to me or to my life, or look to somebody else or their life, or to me and what I have and I can do, or what somebody else can do or have, for me. I don't want to look to them and what they can do for themselves or for me, or what I can do for me and I can do for my life and I can do for... I'm not going to look there. I'm going to look beyond there to God, right? But this is now advanced levels. Not everybody is going to come anywhere close to that, right? Generally speaking. Of course, those who are determined students of the path, they will get there. But generally speaking, at least the basic levels of security are to be experienced by a person, meaning they don't feel needy, they don't feel greedy, they're not attached, they're not reactive, they are at peace, they know that there's for them to learn, grow and develop, they know that they don't need anything from themselves or anybody else. What they need, they already have. They have God who has provided for them, is providing for them. Everything is okay with God. And, we turn to God. We don't turn to ourselves. We don't turn to each other. We turn to God. And we have God. So before we find a partner, in our lives, we can be these developed individuals. And as these developed individuals, this is what it means to be developed, a basic level of security, that I'm I'm aware that I and nobody can meet a need that only my Creator meets. And I'm aware of God before me and anybody else, and that relationship is there. Otherwise, I'll be compulsively, reactively trying to make myself feel okay, or trying to avoid feeling okay. I'll be in the phantom self, egoic self, and I'll be like, compulsive. I'll be looking for safety, relief, and excitement. So what that means is, however I look for safety, relief, and excitement, in my case it was drugs, it was people, losing myself in excitement, approval seeking, needing approval, trying to fit in, trying to get people to like me, trying to show off, that I am, I'm so smart and all that. So these kind of things, they sort of distract us from just being at ease and being relaxed as we try to feel okay and try to avoid feeling not okay. And so all that is the signs of an insecure person. Like I used to be very, showy as a person, show off, want to be somebody, want other people to look up to me, feeling I'm nobody, feeling inferiority. I used to behave in superior ways. I used to, be demanding of people's attention. I used to get angry and upset if people didn't give me attention. I was looking for love where I couldn't get it. You get what I mean? God's love is not in anybody to give me, or in me to give me, or in the world to give me. It's God's love. It's outside of the world. The world is a reflection of God's love to me. So that security is so important. From that security and me being happy like that, the real happiness, not like, oh yeah, it's prayer time now, I've got to do prayer, oh, Ashraf said I must do this, and no, there's a real peace within me and this happiness within me, knowing that God is enough, sufficient, adequate, feeling okay like that, and knowing that I have God in whose care I am in, I'm okay, I can turn to Him, He's to turn to, I know how to relate to God, I know how to connect with the fourth density, fifth dimensional. So there's no bad behavior, there's no phantom self in the extremely insecure levels of, up to nonsense, basically meaning, I'm not judging when it's up to nonsense, I'm just saying, trying to get people to like you is not the purpose of life, you know what I mean? That's like Satan's tricking you. Trying to appear superior is not the purpose of life. Working hard in life and suffering to survive is not the purpose of life. Losing yourself in religion is not the purpose of life. Losing yourself in anything, losing yourself in television is not the purpose of life. Just numbing yourself, avoiding feeling bad, trying to feel good, thinking that in the future you'll feel good, you're feeling excited, relief, safety and excited. It's not healthy. So you can see the importance of being extremely secure, or you get distracted in this world and you'll be off at a tangent. At the very basic level, you got to be, let's just say, mildly secure. So if a person is mildly secure, they're feeling good with God, they know they're okay, they can see that there's a universal support system, they trust in life, they trust in God, they release into the care of God, they trust in God. They turn to God, they trust in God. They don't have a doubt, will God love me tomorrow? I don't know. They release that guilt, that shame, that unworthiness. They're prepared to learn, grow. And they don't act defensive, like, not me, you. They don't have that guilt. They project that guilt onto others. They introject others' guilt. They try to save the world. They want the world to save them. They feel entitled. They're arrogant, whatever. They're lost in themselves. They don't have level of self-awareness. They're not aware of what they feel. They're so deep in the identity, the phantom identity. It contaminates their life. Anybody who is not at least mildly secure can't really move forward as a healthy, happy person, because there's no spiritual health there. There'll be some kind of spiritual illness. There won't be any well-being. There won't be any well-being. You get what I mean? There will be ill-being. So there won't be that peace conscious. They won't be at ease. They won't be pleased. They won't be at peace. They won't feel assured and reassured, and they won't feel like they can have what they want. That whatever they need, they already have. That nothing is needed. They won't be controlled by the belief in need, satanic belief in need. They won't be controlled by they need to be worthy. They need to earn love, and so on and so forth. They won't be controlled by that kind of thing, that that this is what it is, that they are keeping themselves from that peace, that innocence. See, from that peace and that innocence and knowing, look, we don't know everything, we've got to learn, but we have God who guided us, this guidance, and we can learn how to, why we're here, what's the real reason we are here. I mean, you can be with a partner who's lost. And what kind of partner is that? You understand? If a partner is telling you there's only the world, there's only the world, there's only the world, do you think that's really a good partner? So a really good partner will remind you, according to what I teach, right? A really good partner will tell you there's a hereafter, this world is for the hereafter, unless you don't believe that, right? If you don't believe that, then it means nothing what I'm saying to you. But if you're a person who is aware that this world is created to distinguish, who you were, did you remember who you are, did you remember God, did you clean your heart, did you purify your heart? If you are an insecure person, your heart is impure, you're astray, that heart is diseased even further, you're left to stray further, and so on and so forth. You get what I mean? So, this is the thing, that we are in that, how important is it to you to be the partner who's aware of the afterlife and aware that you're here to learn, grow, and develop, that there's success in this world through your death and beyond, and are you that partner, and are you want to be with a partner like that, or are you like a partner who just lives for this world and you want a partner who lives for this world? Is that okay? For me, that's not on. I don't want to be with somebody who's spiritually insane. You know what I mean? That's just me. Or at least somebody who's open. I'd like to be with somebody open, who's open to learning about the afterlife. So, if we do a course like Attract Soulful Love for spiritual individuals, this will be an important thing, especially if you're doing it for people who believe in the afterlife, whether that afterlife is whatever it is, but we're here and we can meet up again in the afterlife, right? So that's what the Quran says. You will meet up again in the afterlife. After you answer, and if you pass your test, you will be, restored or not, or you'll be with your, you'll be in hell with your people in hell. I don't want to meet up with anybody in hell. I'm just letting you all know that. It's not something that inspires me. I want to be in heaven and meet up with people in heaven. And so, I would want to be who I am, secure on the path. This is important to me. There's a time for God in my day, and for my relating to God. I have a relationship with God, but this is not for everybody in the Attract Soulful Love. The minimum thing is you are not needy and you're not guilty. You're not feeling shame and you're not feeling lack. Do you understand? If you're in shame and lack, then that's a problem, because you're going to behave in ways that's going to cause a problem for you and obviously the people around you, because you're not going to be either giving value or being of value to the right person, or you are going to be desperate and somebody's going to have to look after you and all that sort of thing, bail you out of jail, help you when you get sick and all that sort of thing. Not to say we don't get sick, you mustn't get sick, but if you make yourself sick and you stay sick because you are on the path to disease of any kind, mental, physical, emotional, then it's not a suitable partner. So what we're saying is, in the personal development part of it, that security bit is so important. And it will follow through from the prevention. So when we look at the prevention, I'll list out all the kind of things that are problematic in relationship. What do you want to be prevented from experiencing? What are the things that can happen in a marriage that you might regret? And then, when we come to this part of the program, it will be pointing out that, yes, well, if you're secure, self-full and satisfied, then, and if you be with somebody who's secure, self-full and satisfied, then you sort of avoid those dramas and traumas. And we'll point out why. So somebody who feels connected, is flowing energy, their bodies are being energized, they'll age gracefully, they'll be healthy, They'll feel good. They'll have enough energy to care for themselves. If you feel God's caring for you, you'll have enough energy to feel caring for you. If you don't feel that flow with God, you won't be, if you don't feel God's taking care of you, and you don't acknowledge that, if you don't acknowledge there's a universal support system operating and you can trust and everything is okay, there's enough for you in the world, you are enough, you can learn, grow and develop, there's no issue really, nothing bad ever happened to us. If you don't feel that way, you'll be in the child self, and the child self will be a beggar, in unworthy beggar in some way, and that will lead to a sort of addict way of relating, which means self-abandoning, life-depriving, masochism, and that sort of thing. And then we want to point out that pardon my language, a fucked up relationship is a result of one of two things. Either you are an unsuitable partner, and you are the one creating a problem in that marriage, or you attract somebody who seems to be creating a problem in that marriage. But both are the same. What does that mean? So somebody might say, hey, I just got this partner and this partner makes my life miserable. They are violent and aggressive and all that sort of thing. And so that might seem like you have chosen the latter. It's because of somebody else's underdevelopment that you suffer. But even there, it's a match because of your own underdevelopment. So it always comes back to you. But we want to present it in this kind of way that we want to present it in this kind of way that it can look like we are causing a problem for somebody else or for ourselves, or somebody else is causing a problem for us. It can look like it. In a relationship, you can get very sickly, and you can be feel sick and you can't enjoy your marriage or whatever it is, and somebody else will have to look after you, or they won't look after you. So it can be like your own spiritual underdevelopment causing problems for you, your own selfful underdevelopment causing problems for you. You're not relating to your body, your life. You're not relating to your future life, your afterlife. You're not relating to people socially in a way that is beneficial to you. You have unhealthy relationships with people, either enmeshed relationships. You don't have boundaries with other people. You don't know how to conduct yourself. You have toxic people in your life. Now, if you're that kind of person, you don't know how to negotiate your family. You grew up, but you don't know how to negotiate handling your family, and you're still like a child with your family. That socially deficit you'll have. Now somebody marries you. What is not to say that you're causing a problem for them, but what are you contributing, to that particular marriage? As an insecure woman, a self-abandoning woman, a life-depriving, afterlife-depriving, future life and afterlife depriving, a woman who has got social deficit, her relationships are not adding to her life, taking away from her, and now she's there and she's in a marriage. What can she add in a marriage? You see, what support is she going to be, and who's going to be with her? Now that's one side of it, and the other side of it is if you marry somebody who has a deficit in those 5 S's: insecure, self-abandoning, life-depriving. They're not into satisfaction. They're not into social support, and what's it going to be like living with a person like that? Somebody who's on drugs, somebody who takes smoking, over drinks, whatever it is, somebody who's looking to avoid feeling bad, not really feeling good, somebody who's excitement focused, whatever it is. It can be really a downer. People say, but my partner is not available. The things that people complain about. My partner is promiscuous. My partner's got eyes for other people. I can't trust my partner. My partner's not available. My needs are not met. You know what I mean? So you will be unavailable to meet somebody else's needs if you are underdeveloped, and somebody else will be unable to meet your needs if they are underdeveloped. Of course, it's coming from the person in that marriage. So this is our 4-part process. I'm just giving you the meat. Last week we looked at the structure, the skeleton. Now we're looking at the meat of the process. You know what I mean? So, 1, people who are unconscious. In a moment I just want to... First part is people becoming conscious of marriage, the quality of marriage, how people marry, what kind of marriage they'll have, what kind of marriage they're happy with. If they're happy with the kind of marriage that they're going to have, that's fine. We're just saying, become aware of the different types of marriages, the reasons for why people marry, what's the ups and downs of the different types of marriages and people marry, and what can happen, And so that's like part 1. Part 2 is, okay, so this is the bad things that can happen. These are the really, really bad things that can happen. And we can tell them what the really bad things that can happen in each type of the relationships. What is the downside? And if people are saying, look, I'm okay with the downside, then it's okay. It's informed, they can handle it. But some people will say, look, we're not okay with the downside. That downside's a bit too much for me. Some woman will say, as long as a man is giving me money and I've got a place to stay, I got nothing. Never mind, he beats me up. Once in a while, it's okay. Not every day. Maybe once a week, I can take it. Other women say, hey, excuse me, Ashraf, that's not on for me. I don't need to carry on like that. So we show them in part 2 that these are the things that can happen, and, we can protect you from these things, and what it means to marry incorrectly, and how marrying incorrectly is created through these levels of insecurity that I'm talking about, where a person is not connected with God, they're not connected with themselves, their bodies, their lives. And what can happen when people don't care for themselves, their bodies and life to them? And when you're staying with somebody, you're living with somebody, and they're going down that road, are you okay with it? Are you happy with it? Are you happy to see a man stuffing his face up with red meat, getting fat and fat and fat and fat, and then gets a heart attack and leaves you with the children? Is that what you want? If you're okay with that, if you're happy with that, you go ahead. You get what I mean? Some people say, no, we don't want that. If he dies, it's okay. But if he's killing himself, that's another thing altogether. So we show people that there is this risk that's involved. And these are the things that can happen, and we can protect you from that. You can protect yourself from that. We can show you how to not marry incorrectly, what marry. That is part 2. Part 3 is what I was telling you about. Okay, so if you want to be a person, a healthy person, or you want to recognize a healthy person, these are the things about a healthy person. A healthy person, a really healthy person, has spiritual practice. They're really concerned about their state of peace and ease and joy and all that sort of thing. And they have spiritual practice. And a healthy person has self-care practices, and a healthy person has body care practices, and a healthy person has life care practices. They are on a path, and they have people in their life. They have a good relationship with money. They're financially responsible. They're conscious, healthy, finances, this, that, and the other. When it comes to people in their life, they eliminate from their life people who are toxic and harmful. They've learned to reestablish a relationship with their parents as adults, not remaining as children of their parents. And they are able to have boundaries with themselves and other people, and they know who they are, what's important for them, and they can focus on the different areas of their life and support them. And so they are available. They are available as healthy people in relationship. And in relationship, because they care for themselves and their bodies and their lives, and they can, have these boundaries, and they can assert themselves, and they're interested in areas of their lives, then they are like healthy people. And you can have them as friends at the very least if there is an overlap of interests and values and all that sort of thing. So we can show people in that third part what it means to be secure, self-full, satisfied, and have social supports. That's basically about how to be an adult, cocoon time, and all that will fit in there. These are the basic elements of living as an adult. You can learn, grow, and develop, and become an adult. You can spot other adults. You can have adult-to-adult friendships with people. And then the fourth and final part is where we say, okay, so you're a healthy, happy adult, and you're secure, you're self-full, you are satisfaction-orientated, you're into enjoying your life, your areas of your life are great, you have a social support network, and you like, everything is great, you're cool. Now you're looking forward to take it to the next level, which is what marital satisfaction is about. You want to attract the person for marriage. Okay, so this is where we show you the Attract Soulful Love 7-phase pathway process. You know what I'm saying? So that's where our whole protocol kicks in. And the part about energizing your vision and getting clear about the type of person you want to be. So by that time, we would have worked out where the people have issues, like people who don't, they're not authentic, they're not expressive, they don't say, here I am, and what I like is, people who don't, honor themselves, like things like that, where you let yourself down, and where you cause problems for you directly, harming you indirectly by not choosing the right friends, and indirectly by choosing the wrong partner. What are the patterns that sort of hold a person back? These things will be addressed. I've been looking at that over the past couple of days, studying some material and all that sort of thing, to see how we can blend it together, so that it's seamless. But as people go through this whole process, it's 4-part. It's like one leads into the next one. And so we can spend the rest of our lives doing this as an organization, because everything is there. I told you that people come in, they're interested in learning about marriage, then they realize, hey, they got work to do, and they don't want to suffer. They realize there's an option, they become conscious, they want to do that personal development work. We'll have a personal development course just for Attract Soulful Love people, and from there we show them, like, okay, if you want to know more and you want to go deeper, there's the Human Excellence training that you can feed into, and also the Human Excellence training will feed into this. People and have healthy families and healthy societies because of healthy marriages. You know what I mean? So this is basically now my clarity around the material that we have generated from February. All the material's got a place to go now. It'll help me. We've got A to Z. I was telling the facilitators, you've got to take the person from point A to point Z. We've got to go them through a process. So we've got a pathway now, a complete pathway from A to Z. And we've got to know what to share at every point. What to share at every point. So I'm going to stop the meeting there, for anybody who wants to share and have anything to say.